So in my last video, I kind of went over a little bit about like music and like how like music is affecting, or music, being popular entertainment can also like affect, people's like thoughts and emotions, and like how there's like little kids getting into it. So the thing with music, especially like popular music. Now you might say like, okay, Taylor Swift or what's that guy's name? That like one dude, what's his name? Shawn Mendes, is that his name? I don't think that's his name. Whatever. They're like the most popular people that like on the planet when it comes to music, but most people aren't listening to them, right? So, and in general, their songs aren't like bad for the most part, but they're still kind of like a bit sexual explicit in the content and whatnot. But that's the thing. Again, this is popular content that, with the age of the internet, children have just easy access to. Kids growing up with the iPads or smartphones at the age of like 5, and they have access to see anything that they want, just with like a touch of a button. Just typing a couple of words in. And the most popular content consumed, I believe, is like music. So it's like, you might watch TV. Let's say you do watch TV every day, but you only might watch TV like 1-2 hours out of the day, right? But you're going to be listening to music, hearing music in general, like every time. Like when I'm in the car, I might listen to music. When I'm at school, they might be playing music in like the cafeteria area. I might hear other people's music playing. When I'm going back home, I might hear music. Even at work, sometimes they'll play music. So it's like we're constantly surrounded by noise and music. And with it being such a popular medium, and if you're not focusing on what type of music you're actively putting into yourself, then you're going to end up, basically consuming content that is like, not good for you, basically. And that's the thing when it comes to like kids, right? Kids are not focused on what is good for them, what is bad for them. They will cry and yell and complain and whine the fact that they were not able to like literally poison themselves with like the most junk food amount, the most amount of junk food as possible. They will literally cry and tear up things and have a tantrum and like hit people because they weren't able to like eat their favorite candy bar, which will, decay their insides. So, when it comes to just what kids are doing, it is up to the responsible adult people around them to take responsibility for their actions and what they do, and then raise them up to be in a way to where they can hold their own accountability. And kids, not just kids, but all people, in fact, are practically a result of experiences and even the combinations of people that we grew up around or we based ourselves around. But kids are just a more pronounced version of that, right? Kids are like the ultimate version of like copycats, you could say. And when it comes to what it is that we let them see, or what it is that we even let them eat, what it is that, in this case, that we let them listen to, is going to have like a huge effect on them. And so let's say a child is like watching Ice Spice music videos or listening to Ice Spice music videos. Now she's like listening to stuff about like, someone shaking her ass. Oh, I'm shaking my ass. Oh, I'm tuning it back. Like, okay, why is a 5-year-old little girl, 6-year-old little girl, 7, 8, 9, even 10-year-old little girl into this type of entertainment? There's something going on. There's something that's wrong. There's the parent in that situation isn't taking the proper accountability for what it is their child is listening to. Either they're letting their child have way too much access to the internet. Maybe that child found out about it through a friend, or like, that child, they're not having like any type of restricted access when it comes to the internet, or that parent just straight up is encouraging that type of behavior. Some parents encourage that type of behavior. I've seen videos where girls are like, singing Pound Town by, what's her name? Sexy Red. And these are like 5-year-old little girls at like a birthday party or something like that. And parents are recording it like it's cute, like it's funny, like it's cool, when it's not. It's like, honestly, like, it's disgusting. It's horrible. And you have like little boys saying like, oh, I like Young Thug, I like Lil Baby, and then they start singing, just lyrics and stuff like about like killing or murders or drugs or like being a womanizer, and so it's like it's just horrible, that like this is what they take inspiration from. And like their parents could be like working extra hours every day, whatever, and so what their parent is their phone, their parent is their iPad, their parent is their iPhone, their parent is their friend's computer. They're getting all their advice from the internet, and they're not getting anything from their parents or from the adults around them because they feel they have all the answers here, but they're not actively looking for the answers. The answers are coming to them. And when you have stuff coming to you without you actively going and look for it, 9 times out of 10 is going to be something that like serves you no purpose. So these kids are growing up and developing with these devices and this type of technology that is like, just having just this massive effect on their mental health. Now, I could say I could have been in like the same boat or category, but it's like my parents, they restricted my stuff. They didn't like allow me to watch or look at a lot of things. They would always be like over my shoulder when I'm watching stuff. If I was watching anything I had no business watching, I would sneak it. So it's like, at least I knew that, like, at least I had the conscious ability to be like, okay, I know I'm not supposed to be watching this, so let me go and hide it, But these kids now, they're like, they don't care. They don't care. They'll just whip out their phone, look at whatever right in front of the teacher, without even giving it a second thought, because either there's no, active parent that is like trying to moderate that type of thing, or, the parent is not giving enough concern to moderate those things. So it's just like, with these children, they're going to school, they're giving their teachers hell. My mother, she's a elementary school teacher, and, she's saying like almost with every new class of students each year, they become like worse and worse. Some other teachers say the same thing. There's a lot of teachers dropping out of like the public school system because, it's like the parents are expecting these institutions, they're like their dance classes or baseball practice or, the classroom to raise their child. But that's not how it works. Your child spends most of, their time with their parent, with you, if you are a parent. And so it is your responsibility to have them be well-behaved, well-organized, obedient. So then when they enter the world of like, education, athletics, team sports, or whatever the case may be, that way they're not causing everybody else problems. But when you have a whole generation of children like that, then it's like, how do you even regulate that? How do you even take the kid that is like, not paying attention, or the kid that is not listening to authority, and like be like, all right, class, like, you guys have to act like this, but, make sure you don't fall into this type of behavior or whatever, right? Not saying don't use a kid as an example like that. That's a horrible way of doing things. But I'm just saying, like, when you have a whole class of like just unmannered, disbehaved kids, then it's like, where is the example of like well behavior, right? You might have 1 or 2 kids that exhibit good behavior, but when the entire class is like, acting a fool, then everybody's going to think acting a fool is the normal thing to do. And I feel like that all just stems from music and like what we're letting the kids look at and see. Now we can take things into like a bit of a different route, like not just the like little kids. I think that's like little kids now, they're like Gen Alpha maybe, and my current generation is Generation Z. And so what we do, or at least, it's something I know I did and people that I know do, whereas like we listen to music like all the time. We're driving, we're listening to music. We're walking, we're listening to music. We're talking to our friends, we're listening to music. We're in class, we're listening to music. We're on our way back home, we're listening to music. At home, we're listening to music. The moment we wake up, we're listening to music. When we're going to sleep, we're listening to music. So we're always constantly having noise, just like be in our minds, drown out our own thoughts, things like that, waste away our mental clarity. And when I was like this, I'll go to sleep listening, having music playing. I would, be in class listening to music. Sometimes, again, I would be talking to friends listening to music. And I would wonder, like, bro, why do I, like, have, like, this weird brain fog all the time? Why do I have, like, these little headaches all the time? Why am I not able to actually process and develop my own thoughts properly? Because I wasn't actually letting myself basically acclimate to my own thoughts and my own emotions, right? And that's one thing too. Music very much affects your emotions, and like the things that you do. So like if you're sad and you listen to sad songs, you're just gonna be sad. Sometimes if you can feel you could be the most ecstatic person in the room. If you listen to a sad song, it's gonna bring your happiness down a little bit because of like all the chords and the instrument used and the notes and whatever. So it's like, again, we have to moderate these types of things. So I would wonder, like, why do I feel angry now? Why do I feel sad now? Why do I feel like the most happiest person when I was just mad a couple minutes ago? So it's like you're kind of like all of a sudden introducing like this weird substance, almost like a drug in a way. You can kind of see music as a drug, almost like a drug in a way, to where you introduce these outside elements that constantly are making your mind make these adaptations and switches that, like, again, don't allow you to properly access your own actual emotions in a situation, or don't allow you to properly have your own thoughts and have your own mental clarity. So it's like, again, we just need to find these things in our lives that are like having this effect on us. Some music I would listen to, I would like start crying. I would like, maybe not bawling, but I would like shed a tear or start tearing up a little bit. And it's like before then, just a couple minutes ago, I wasn't on the verge of tears or anything. But it's crazy that a song can evict so much power and emotion that it does that. So it's like, just think of all of a sudden you're the most fine person ever. And then you listen to a 3-minute song. That's 3 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes, right? That's not even a short film. And all of a sudden you're like transported into a whole different world. Like, that's literally what drugs do. So, and I'm not saying music's bad. I love music. I especially love music when it transports me to a different world, stuff like that. But it's like, to listen to it all the time, it's going to start to lose its effect. And at some point, it's just going to give you a headache. At some point, you're just going to get brain fog. And again, you won't be able to honestly think for yourself, because you're consuming the thoughts and ideas and emotions of just others around you. And like, again, relating back to little kids listening to music or just content that they consume, a lot of it is just going to be like the most stimulatory, like trash stuff. It's not like kids have taste for anything. They don't really develop taste for anything besides like candies and toys. But in terms of like quality, kids don't have that quality factor. They have more of a quantity. They always want more toys. They always want more pretty things. They always want more food or more candies, whatever. So they're always going to want the most stimulatory content, the most content that's going to like just make their brain like light up like crazy. And so without that, having all that stuff regulated, then again, they're just going to end up looking at stuff they have no business looking at. And it's just, it could ruin them. But it's not too late, But yeah, that's all I got to say. See you guys in the next video.